Horizon just one Rex, and this is Alexandriad 1. Alexander the Great, Part 1 by the channel Maltheus. Yes, Maltheus uploaded another video after, I guess, long enough time. He was doing Byzantium series. I think he stopped doing that, I guess. Now he's doing Alexander the Great. People are telling me in the comments that, production quality went up. He only has 9,000 subscribers. I feel like he should have more by now. So I guess, this, channel, I hope YouTube algorithm pushes the channel soon. Because, so far all the videos of the past were great. This video has even better quality. So that's going to be even great. This video has so far 14,000 views. This was uploaded on July 5. Again, YouTube algorithm needs to, I guess, push this video. Any of my subscriber is watching this and you don't know about this channel Maltheus, go to the link in the description with the original video and support this channel. This is a great creator. So yeah, let's watch this one. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction today. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards of the different playlists. Check out the end cards, and yeah, let's watch it. Notification. Wait a minute, is this intro from something? Is this a reference to something? Because I don't know why I'm feeling that I've seen something like this before, long time ago. This last bit here. What is this? Alexandriad.
Alexander, considered by many the greatest man to ever live. In his short life, his indomitable spirit would see Macedonian and Greek armies reach the very edge of the known world. In the ensuing wars of conquest...
Okay, when they're about to invade India, Indus River, they thought that's the edge of the world, so they turned back. Yeah, even the Julius Caesars, I've still not reached the same level of Alexander the Great. Even Julius Caesar said that, so yeah.
He raged. He bent the very reality he lived in to his will. Alexander truly created a new world. The origins of Alexander were illustrious in of themselves. The direct descendant of Achilles, the son of the great Macedonian Greek king Philip II, and Olympias, daughter of a neighboring kingdom. Alexander would soon outshine all of these legacies. On the day he was born, Philip's general Parmenion won a great victory. Philip's horse won its race at the Olympic Games, and the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, burned to the ground as the gods focused their energies into bringing Alexander into this world. When Alexander was 10 years old, his father had purchased a massive horse, which was so wild that none of his men could tame it. Alexander, already demonstrating his genius, realized it was because the horse was afraid of its own shadow. He mounted the horse and tamed it himself, naming it Bucephalus. Witnessing this, Philip broke down in tears.
I mean, that is something, right? All the people around the horse don't realize, why is horse doing that? Why the kid standing there realize, oh, look at that, horse is fearing his own shadow. I mean, that's just smart right there.
Kissing his son and saying, "My boy, you must find a kingdom big enough for your ambitions. Macedon is too small for you." Bucephalus' fear of his own shadow was created by the gods as a message to Alexander. It forced him to forever ride east, towards the rising sun and his destiny. Growing up, Alexander was tutored by
Man, he was riding east, right? So what if they didn't stop at India? They conquered India and still moved on. Would they reach Japan soon? I don't know, man. Damn.
Aristotle himself, one of the greatest philosophical minds of all time. Furthermore, he was surrounded with the most promising men of the entire kingdom, among them Ptolemy, Ereos, Nearchus, and his BFF and loyal ally Hephaestion. These guys will be around a while, I can promise that. Meanwhile, Philip had reformed the Macedonian army into the most alpha fighting force in the world. Among his many brilliant innovations was the Macedonian phalanx formation, wielding gigantic spear called sarissas. This unit, though not very maneuverable, was unstoppable as long as its flanks were properly covered.
That is something, right? At the Macedonian Expo, the presenter will be like, you know what's better than the spear? A big spear. Introducing phalanx.
16, Alexander was commanding his father's armies, had defeated several rebellions, and had conquered new lands for Macedon. He even named a city after himself, Alexandropolis, who would be the first of many. As the two heroes secured...
Yeah, man, Alexander was that, right? Like Trump. He just, named everything after him. There were so many Alexandria cities. He just like, fuck it, name everything after me.
And expanded the frontiers of Macedon. They faced a massive coalition of Greek city-states at the decisive Battle of Chaeronea. In the melee, the 18-year-old Alexander commanded the elite companion cavalry for the first time. It was a massive slugfest, with neither side gaining an advantage, until Philip feigned a retreat, and Alexander bravely launched his cavalry straight at the best soldiers of the opposing armies. A bunch of queers called the Sacred Band of Thieves. The elite of both armies met.
Yeah, I see about the production quality. Damn, he really bumped it up, right? All these animations are not easy, the way he's doing it. So, yeah, that's why it took this many months, I guess. Damn. I hope this video gets more views because this is way too much effort. This video deserves more views.
In a deadly and desperate melee. Through Alexander's personal courage and ambition, the Macedonians were able to overcome the spearmen, routing the enemy. Seeing their best soldiers slaughtered, the remainder of the coalition armies simply shat their pants and fled the field. Subjugated, the other Greek states were subsumed into the Hellenic League. Philip intended to wield this powerful coalition in a glorious pan-Hellenic crusade against the barbarians of the Persian Achaemenid Empire. However, for every truly grand and visionary spirit, there are 100 weak-willed and reactionary men who fail to grasp a greater future, who are filled only with desire for the selfish comforts in life. Thus, Philip was slain by men afraid of the dawning of a new era, though Leonidas and Perdiccas would ensure they did not escape. But little did those traitors know, an even greater dreamer would rise to take his place. The 20-year-old Alexander took the throne and immediately set out to unify the entire Greek world with his sheer force of personality. He started by executing everyone involved in the plot against his father and then some. Anyone whose loyalty could be questioned was purged or killed. Next, he put down several revolts by opportunistic city-states, led by some retard orator that modern autists still worship for some reason, Demosthenes. But most of these armies capitulated upon the mere sight of Alexander, seeing with their own eyes his aura of divinity. Then, he further reformed the Macedonian army. Finding the biggest-brained engineers he could, Alexander revolutionized siege warfare by vastly improving siege rams and towers, and creating the world's first torsion catapult. Even better, his engineers designed these weapons so that they could be easily deconstructed and carried with his army. Thus, for the first time in the history of warfare, an army did not have to build new siege weapons from scratch everywhere they went. He marched on. Alexander...
Damn. Why is that every time some great conquerors, great warriors of the past, ruler of the past is shown, there's always that they, led with some kind of a new innovation. A great siege weapon was introduced then. Even during the Genghis Khan time, that was the thing. So every time there's some great ruler of the time, he always, it's not just simply they just went and conquered. No, there was always like, he had great equipments. He introduced great siege weapons and things like that right here.
Sought out the famous Cynic philosopher Diogenes. For those of you who are not already faithful disciples of Diogenes, I'll explain. He was the first man to realize the truth, that civilization inevitably leads to degeneracy. Thus, Diogenes rejected the modern world before it was cool, and his followers would later create Stoicism. Diogenes would even jack off in public, just to assert his dominance over angry virgins. Wanting to do the old legendary man a favor, Alexander exclaimed, "If I were not Alexander, I would want to be Diogenes." To which Diogenes replied, "If I were not Diogenes, I would also wish to be Diogenes.
Yeah.
Around this
Yeah, first one is like, okay, you're blocking the sun, move out. He told that to Alexander the Great. That's something.
time, Alexander visited the famous oracle Pythia, asking for a divination. She refused to even speak to Alexander. Remembering how the same oracle had disrespected his father some years ago, the god king walked into her chamber, dragged her out by the hair, kicking and screaming until she finally admitted the truth. Yelling, "You are invincible, my son!" Alexander simply replied, "Now I have my answer." He then moved to
Excellent.
secure his northern frontier. In a lightning campaign, Alexander defeated the Thracians twice, crushed the Triballi, crossed the Danube by using freaking tents filled with hay to float across the river, obliterated the Getae, then floated back across to annihilate 2 Illyrian kingdoms at Pelion. Of course, some Greeks, led by Demosthenes, took the opportunity Alexander's absence left to rebel yet again. But Alexander was not to be trifled with. Witnessing the rapid, unexpected approach of Alexander's returning army, most Greeks immediately prostrated themselves before him once more. All
Yeah, whether it's Roman Empire or time of the Alexander the Great, there's always some weak assholes who try to stop the great ascent of a great man, right? Every time some kind of some rebels, civil wars and shit like that.
except for the Thebans, who were still butthurt over the loss of Chaeronea. But long ago, the Thebans had unwittingly taught Philip all their tricks while he was held in captivity.
Oh, Zeus. Look at that, it's surprising, right? Rather than raping somebody like Zeus do every day, well, this time he thought, you know what, let's give Alexander the Great some power. White boy summer. Thebes conquered.
Thus stood Alexander, the champion of all Greek civilization, as he turned his gaze east in early 334 BC.
Yeah, before the Alexander the Great came, all the regions of Greece, like Thebes and different places, Lesbos and different places, had their own dialects and different type of languages that they spoke. Alexander the Great came and just conquered everywhere and just like, okay, speak just one language. That's it. No more different dialects. That's it.
Doubted his vision. The Macedonian treasury was empty because Alexander had magnanimously ended taxation in Greece. Most Greek city-states were nonetheless looking for any opportunity to revolt, and the Persian Empire was as rich as it was massive and powerful. But Olympias then told Alexander the truth. The night he was conceived, Olympias was possessed by Zeus himself in the form of a lightning bolt. Alexander was thus not just a man, he was a god.
Oh, so instead of himself, he sent his lightning bolt to do the thing. Okay.
Loyal old friend Antipater behind as regent, Alexander took 50,000 men across the Hellespont in a Panhellenic crusade. His objective, you may ask? To civilize the entire world. He would never return. Landing near Troy, Alexander leapt from his ship, thrusting his spear deep into the sand, proclaiming that he accepted Asia as his gift from the gods. Inside the city, Alexander confiscated many weapons left over from the Trojan War, giving them to his best.
Yeah, I love how he just went to his generals like, it's time to take the world. Entire Greece? I said the world. Greece and beyond. And just looked to the east where the sun was rising.
Best men for divine protection, Chief Kestus among them. Finally, Alexander paid respects to the tomb of his direct ancestor Achilles and begged forgiveness from the grave of the last great Trojan king Priam. Alexander then marched along the coast seeking the enemy. As he liberated Greek cities, Alexander ensured his soldiers greeted the civilians as brothers, preventing any bloodshed or looting. As the local Persian satraps witnessed their oppressed subjects happily embrace the righteous Macedonian banner, they called a council of war to decide what new way to seed this time. In this meeting, various Persian governors squabbled over semantic bullshit. The only thing they could really agree on was that they had to stop.
But is it just me or, the video's quality is even going better the more video moves on, later stages of the video, it has even better quality than the start.
Stop Alexander, lest they lose all their shekels. However, there was actually a man in the room who had at least 2 brain cells to rub together. He was also the only man in the room who wasn't a Persian. The corrupted Memnon of Rhodes argued that they should adopt a scorched earth strategy, as there was absolutely zero effing chance the virgin Persians could hope to defeat the Chad Macedonian army. But in a moment truly indicative of all human history, shekels spoke louder than reason. Thus, the Persian horde formed up across the Granicus River one evening. They were formed up in the traditional Achaemenid battle formation, which had conquered most of the known world. Infantry consisted of a row of Sparabara shield bearers, which formed a shield wall protecting many rows of archers. As Persian arrows blotted out the sky, any attacking enemies would be slaughtered, while the elite Persian cavalry charged and destroyed their opposing flanks.
Yeah, Persian also had the Greek mercenaries with them, right? I don't know where I remember that from, but I'm pretty sure, at the battle, Greek, Persians had the Greek mercenaries. And then, Alexander conquered them and they, I guess, ran away or something, but Alexander still chased them, killed them, because they were traitors or something. I don't know, I remember that from somewhere.
This accomplished, the Sparbar could then charge forwards while the archers changed weapons to fight as normal infantry. The results were often devastating, and Alexander was well aware of this threat. Alexander had a difficult decision to make, and all the men assembled awaited the king's move.
That's awesome.
As Alexander approached, Parmenion, his best general, cautioned that he should wait until the morning before drawing battle. The 2 armies gazed across at one another, the Persians baiting the Greeks to attack. Then, out of nowhere, Alexander surged forward at the front of his companion cavalry. He moved with such ferocity that the Persian horsemen couldn't hit him, obliterating the confused enemy and cleaving a path through their lines. The Persian elite swarmed to face Alexander, hoping to kill him and end the war in a single blow. Alongside him was Parmenion's son Philotas, a brave yet self-absorbed virgin commander.
Self-absorbed virgin.
As Alexander and the companions tried to break through and envelop the Persian lines, the Macedonian phalanx moved forward to pin down the Persian center and opposite flank. Many good men fell, but the Macedonian advance was unstoppable. The enemy's discipline rapidly deteriorated. Alexander killed so many enemies that his lance broke from overuse.
Man, I'm liking all this combat, animation. This is great, man. More details, small thing here and there is awesome.
Grabbing another lance from a companion, Alexander leapt back into the fight, killing the son-in-law of Darius with a lance through his face. At this moment, another noble struck Alexander on the head with such force that his helmet split. But all this had done was expose Alexander's holy locks, the glory of which burned the mortal man alive. Finally, a third noble snuck behind Alexander, about to deliver a killing blow before Cletos the Black appeared out of nowhere and cut the noble's arm off in a single strike. Witnessing the unstoppable God King slaughter the best the Persians had to offer, the remainder of the Persian army fled, but Alexander wasn't interested in pursuing the Persians. Instead, he surrounded some 20,000 Greek mercenaries who had betrayed their countrymen.
See, I knew it. I don't know where I saw it, but I remember that the first time Persians and Alexander faced off at the time where Alexander crossed the river. There was also Greek mercenaries with the Persians, and he didn't pursue the Persians, but he pursues the mercenary because obviously he saw them as traitors. I remember that from somewhere.
The Persian gold, imagining that surely Alexander would simply pay them to fight for him. They surrendered without a fight, but Alexander had different ideas. The traitors were utterly massacred. Alexander had proven his point.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, seriously, people. Come on. Yeah. If you seriously like this video, I mean, if you don't know anything about this channel, this is the first time you've seen it. Like I said, original video link is in the description. Click that, and from there, I guess, support this channel. This video had really great quality. I mean, the previous videos already had great quality, but this is even bump up. That is just awesome to see. All the battle animations, everything is just perfect. You know, this channel only has 9,000 subscriber, and this video only has 14,000 views so far. That's criminally low, right? This requires more support. So, you know, and if you're watching and haven't seen this original video, go to the, you know, video page, I guess, like there, comment anything, and help the algorithm there. Yeah, that was this great video. I'm gonna be waiting to see, you know, more parts from this, because this was awesome so far. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the Alexandriad, there's a link in the description, check out the cards, please check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.